Hello everyone and welcome to Stretford Paddock, and here is our preview for the Bournemouth game. I am Alex. I am joined today by Mr. Ronaldo Brown. Alright?
Great, always great when I'm with you, mate.
Fantastic, mate. It's fantastic. What do we think? What are we thinking for Bournemouth then?
W's only.
W's only?
I was saying to you earlier, I can't really see anything but a win. I'm not trying to jinx it, but
You are, a little bit.
I'm not trying to jinx it, just going to put it out there, touch wood, but I feel like a comfortable victory is in the midst.
But we've had a good week as United fans, haven't we, really? You know, with the results going our way. We've got Chelsea dropping points, Leicester dropping points, United winning.
I feel like it's beyond a good week. I feel like we've had
a good week.
I feel like obviously we've not lost in the last 15 games. So in a good run of form. Bournemouth obviously lost their last 4, and they're near the bottom, so I can't really see an upset. Callum Wilson not playing either.
Well, before we get into them, let's do our normal 3 points, starting off with Man United's team news. Start off with the injuries. There's not many, is there? There's the ones we mentioned in the last few weeks. We've got Phil Jones out, as well as Axel Tuanzebe. Axel Tuanzebe today got confirmed that he's out until September, so he won't feature at all in this and the Europa League run, whatever.
Yep.
Phil Jones is not mentioned the start date back. Not that it matters too much for Phil Jones, does it?
I feel like Phil Jones is a bit of a irrelevant omission.
Absolutely no. And obviously Angel Gomez didn't sign his contract last week, so he's currently
Other than that, fully fit.
Free agent. Other than that, fully fit squad. And we've got our starting 11, and there's not much to talk about in changes wise because we've gone unchanged, haven't we? Exactly the same.
Exactly the same. We were talking about Matic getting a bit of a rest actually because of his legs, but I feel like we've done too well.
We can't
with
change
the squad
it.
to change it.
I don't think we can change it. I don't think we can afford to change it. I think that what Ollie showed this week with the Brighton game was come out for an hour, best team, get 3 goals up, and then you can use the 5 subs to our advantage. Bring off Pogba, bring off Fernandes, did he bring off Martial as well?
Yeah.
Gave them guys a rest, and I think that's going to be his plan for this weekend as well. There's no point us, rotating players, struggling, and then having to bring them on and kind of forcing it. It's more let's get the game won, bring them players off and give them a rest.
Yeah, there's just too much on the line to kind of take chances.
Especially
get these games done and dusted early.
Especially with us being the 3 o'clock kickoff, playing a bit earlier in the weekend compared to what we have been doing, where the other teams have created a gap in front of us and we're having to catch up. Now we can we can go level on points with Leicester. We can go ahead of Chelsea.
As you said, we've had a good week with obviously opposition results, so that means we've got to kind of take advantage, and the only way you take advantage is play your strongest team.
Yeah, so I think we've gone for it. So we'll quickly run through De Gea in goal, obviously. Wan-Bissaka, who I think's been fantastic since he's come back. Maguire and Lindelof. Bailly didn't really take his chance against Norwich, did he? When he came in,
I looked a little bit off. It looked a little bit sloppy, but
so I don't think he's going to do it. Luke Shaw, which obviously there's been a lot of talk about Luke Shaw in and around these parts, and but he looked a lot better against Brighton. He actually looked.
I think he just overlapped a lot more than he usually does. But obviously, want to see if that's a consistent thing because, in my opinion, I think the jury's still out on Shaw. I do prefer Williams in that kind of role. I feel like he's more progressive. He's a bit more attack-minded. He's more on the front foot, and that's what I like in my fullbacks. Yeah. Especially when you've got Wan-Bissaka on the other side, who's definitely a little bit more defensive. And his forward players as polished. You want the other side to at least offer you something. And
especially with Rashford cutting inside, and that's obviously what Luke Shaw does as well. It seems crazy to have them both doing that. But
hopefully what he was doing against Brighton is a sign of things to come.
Yeah, I mean the Luke Shaw, that might be one of the places. Ollie didn't mention today that he might be rotating players coming in. Yeah. But maybe Luke Shaw is the one that gets rested. Maybe Williams was coming for that, but at the moment we've stuck with that. Midfield we don't need to mention because they've just been that midfield 3 of Matic, Pogba, Fernandes. Fernandes he's played in every single game on this unbeaten run, which is a crazy. He's been there 15.
He played 120 against Norwich as well.
Played 120 against Norwich, and then came out and for the first hour ran more than anyone else on the pitch, which is an unbelievable start.
He's either a machine or on the verge of collapse, but
hopefully the other. Hopefully he is a machine. And then we've got obviously Paul Pogba keeping his place in there. Front 3: Rashford, Martial, Greenwood. Greenwood got his goal of the day. Do you think Rashford needs a goal though?
He needs a goal.
He desperately needs a goal.
Definitely. He's not been his sharp. He's like pre-lockdown sharp self, so to speak. Obviously, he came off the back of basically a stress fracture in his back, and obviously there's a lot of pressure on him to come back and kind of perform with like the kind of things that he was doing during lockdown and all the accolades he was getting.
Yeah.
So he might have a little bit of a pressure on him where he feels like he's got to do He's got to make something. He's got to make something happen. But I feel like tomorrow's a perfect opportunity in a Bournemouth side that's not in form to get a goal.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely. And Martial's been playing well. Had not an off game against Brighton because not many people did, but he didn't really. Obviously, didn't get on the score sheet. But another game for Martial to impress, hopefully. Yeah, moving on, we'll move on to Bournemouth. As you mentioned before, they have lost 4 games in a row. They aren't in the best of forms. They're in a. I don't think they've not won since the 1st of February. So they're on a proper down run at the minute, aren't they?
Just jinx after jinx, isn't it?
I know, yeah. It's hard not to. It's hard not to, innit? So again, injury-wise for them, no Callum Wilson. He's serves a second and 2-game suspension after he's had 10 yellow cards. Dominic Solanke started midweek alongside Josh King. So,
and obviously Josh King got the winner last time.
I know, yeah.
Obviously, we're saying that Bournemouth in a terrible run of form. They've lost 4 in a row, down near the bottom, not won since Feb. I don't think they've never got a point at all at Old Trafford either.
Another jinx. Really are throwing him in there, aren't we?
But they did beat us last time.
Yeah, they did beat us. And it's the kind of... Ollie brought this up in his press conference today, kind of mentioned that everyone's going on about the run-ins for all these teams in the top 4. And Ollie kind of brought everyone back down a bit today and mentioned that these teams that we're playing, you know, Bournemouth, we've got West Ham still to play. All teams we've dropped points to. A lot of teams that we've dropped points to, even though they are lower down teams, even though they are fighting relegation. So these are the games we struggled with at the start of the year. And obviously the Brighton game, we looked a lot better. We looked like we were breaking these low block teams down. And hopefully we need to continue that, don't we?
We have to.
Have to.
Can't slip up. We've got to capitalise on everyone else dropping points around us.
Key man for Manchester United. Who are we thinking for our key man for this week?
It's just got to be Bruno again.
Got to be Bruno. I mean,
Bruno. I was edging towards Greenwood, but
yeah,
I'll say Bruno
again. He's had, I think, something ridiculous like 6 man of the match performances in 15 games.
And what was the start the other day on Sky Sports? He's had 8 goal involvements in February, which is more than any other player. So a lot coming through Bruno. I think that obviously the Bruno Pogba partnership is starting to take a little bit of shape. Hopefully we see more of that. But Bruno. It's almost like shock horror. Great players can play together.
Great players being on the same pitch makes us play good football. It's madness. But yeah, Bruno Fernandes again, hopefully as our key man. I think key man, but also Marcus Rashford needs to get mentioned. He needs to step up to this now. He needs to get back to how he was, and we'll see.
I believe so. If we go to score predictions now, I'm gonna go 3-0 again.
You reckon 3-0?
I reckon 3-0 and Rashford gets 2. I'm putting it out there for him.
I'm gonna go 3-1. I reckon they'll get a goal, but I'm hoping that Rashford gets that goal to get going. Make sure you are getting into the comments. Get your starting 11s. Get your predictions into the game. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll have obviously the usual team news video, back for a watch along as well as the match review. That'll be all from us. Cheers, mate. Cheers for that review.
Cheers.
And we'll see you all next time. Laters.